Hello out there, beautiful people, and welcome to your Daily Focus Tarot for Thursday, the 26th of May, 2022. In your money, career, jobs focus, we have number 12, the Gort Ivy. And the Gort Ivy is talking about the answers are within you to your transformation, to your rebirth. And I'll read from the book here. This is the Celtic Tree Oracle. The book says, because ivy grows in a spiral, you may be revisiting old stories and wounds at this time. Ivy reassures you to look at these recurring themes from a new perspective. You are traveling through these tender places for another level of healing in your soul growth. Ivy brings you persistence and determination towards your goals. She encourages you not to give up, but to keep going and keep growing. Now we also have the King of Wands, the Six of Swords, the Four of Swords, and the Queen of Swords. Now the King of Wands, he's talking about the need to take inspired action, to be determined. And what are you taking action toward? You're taking action toward that rebirth, towards like the lizard shedding its skin and the fire, the phoenix, being reborn again. You're taking action towards that. And the Six of Swords, it's talking about how you're silently releasing your baggage that the ivy is helping you with. And the ivy, of course, the 12 becomes a 3, which is half of the 6. You're releasing your baggage and moving into calmer waters. You can see on the right here, the waters are kind of stormy. Well, maybe, there you go. You can see they're stormy and it's cloudy over here. And then over here where these mountains are that are stable and steady earth, they're grounded. The water's much calmer and so is the sky. It's a little bit like a sunrise over here. It's very subtle, whereas over here it's more like a storm coming in. But you can definitely see the difference on either side of the boat. And all of these swords are the same here. They're all just kind of sitting there in the boat with him. He's got them, but they're not being used against him, and he's not using them against anybody else. So, much calmer waters. The Four of Swords is about meditation. It's about recovery, rest. You can kind of only see, well, there's a sword, and a sword. And then the fourth sword is above the title, and it's gilded. And it's just sitting there resting in front of the flower. He's got one sword, but he's not, if you've ever seen some of the sarcophaguses of medieval knights, probably most people wouldn't have seen, like in Westminster Abbey, but like maybe Indiana Jones, where he goes down into the tombs, into the catacombs, and the knight has his sword resting on his chest, ready for him to be resurrected and wake up fighting. So this card in this image kind of reminds me of that. The knight, you're not dead, you're resting. And someday you're going to come back to life. But for now, you need to rest. And this Queen of Swords, it can be talking about being straightforward, being direct, sending clear messages, setting clear boundaries. And that's very important at work. It's also important with your finances. In terms of setting a budget, setting a boundary, thinking about what you want to accomplish and how you want to grow financially and career-wise, and then taking the action. Setting a budget will help you reach clear waters, especially if you're in any sort of debt or if you have this habit of overspending. If you set a budget and stick to it, it'll really transform your life. So this Queen of Swords, she could be talking about setting boundaries at work, setting boundaries in your career if you have a monetized hobby, setting that boundary that you don't work yourself to death. Hustle is good, but it's not that great. It's not everything in life. And so I think because there's, 3 swords here, I'm going to talk about swords. So swords are about your beliefs, your way of thinking, and how the way that you think about things inform your actions. Like form follows thought. It doesn't necessarily follow function when you're talking about the swords. It's following your thought, and you want to be mindful of what your thoughts are. You want to change your thoughts. So you want to focus on this transformation, this rebirth. Get some rest in, and make sure that the action you're taking is leading you to the calmer waters and not leading you into battle. Okay, so for your personal focus for today, we have the Empress. It's quite a beautiful card. This deck is Ethereal Visions. So the Empress, she's talking about creating abundance. She's talking about luxury and nurturing. And when I say luxury, I don't necessarily mean like the most expensive thing. I mean like not having to worry. In terms of like boundaries for financial or jobs, that would be like you don't have to work tons of overtime to be able to pay your bills. You have the luxury of saying, no, I only want to work this many hours and I can still make enough to pay my bills. Luxury is kind of a relative thing. The most expensive thing, the most expensive sweater may be itchy, whereas the cheap sweater, the cheapest one, may feel like being wrapped up in the warmest, softest hug of your best friend. And that's what you want to create. That's what it's asking you to focus on. We also have the Ten of Cups, which is, the ultimate satisfaction. That's, he's not even wearing a shirt. The baby's wrapped up in mother's arms, and he's also. and the father is holding the baby, and they're just the happiest family. There's a rainbow in the background, a sunrise. They're sheltered by the tree. It even looks like the tree is hugging them and looking down on the baby. So this 10 of Cups is the ultimate abundance. And the 6 of Cups, it can be talking about, a reunion, this happy reunion, this abundance with the family. It can be talking about reminiscing. You can see the figure in the doorway kind of watching the children play. And the children are just innocently playing with flowers. They're not overthinking things. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Magician and the 9 of Pentacles. And I don't always look at the bottom of the deck, but sometimes I do. So the 9 of Pentacles, it's almost to that 10 of Pentacles. It's almost to the harvest. It's getting ready. The Magician, he's got everything he needs. He's got, the pentacles, he's got the sword, he's got the wand, he's got the cup. He's got all of the elements. He's got the light and the dark. And he's got, the keyhole here. That's also the Ouroboros. Sorry, I have trouble saying that word. It's also the world snake. The snake that's a figure 8 that eats its own tail. So it's a never-ending cycle. And this card is talking about taking what can't be seen, using your creativity, using your skill, and bringing that physically into the world, creating it. So your personal focus, whether it's to do with your family, your friends, your spiritual growth, your own self-growth in some way, you're trying to get ready for this harvest. Maybe you're reminiscing a little. Maybe you're just, experiencing joy. The joy of a reunion. You've got the 10 of Cups here with this Magician and this Empress. This abundance and this nurturing. This luxury here. And your personal life, your personal focus. And I would focus on continuing to make this a reality. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday. I'll see you again tomorrow.